Clearly I've been drinking.
Yeah.
And I ran into these cars.
Right now on KGW News, Bodycam video takes us through the night. A suspected drunk driver scrambled with a sheriff's deputy and was killed in custody. Plus,
a duo of huge Portland skyscrapers going on the market.
More signs of trouble for downtown real estate as two of the biggest office buildings go up for sale. And later,
it's really effectively a conveyor belt, magic carpet in the sky.
yeah, quite the hard sell for a small airline coming to a terminal near you, where they'll fly and why its operators call it a much more convenient way to travel. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. We begin tonight with new video and evidence Gresham police hope will help them solve a traumatic hit and run. A warning, the video you're about to see is jarring, though we want to let you know the victim survived. Around 10:30 at night on New Year's Eve 2023, Angel Blackburn was riding his motorcycle near Division and 202nd. His wife and two young kids were driving in a car not far behind and witnessed what happened next. In the newly released video, you see a car's headlights pop up as the video starts. Police say that is the moment the suspect rear-ended the motorcycle, knocked Blackburn to the ground, and you sort of see the car jump, running him over. We've highlighted here where you can see Blackburn on the ground. He spent over a month in the hospital. At the time, police released this shot of a suspect vehicle and people in it who'd pulled over briefly to see what had happened, but eventually left, leaving that car behind. We talked to Blackburn's wife shortly after the crash.
People who did this are not good people whatsoever, to not only hit him but run him over and then proceed to just park and casually get out of their car, because we have the video of them getting out of the car afterwards. They didn't run. They didn't care. It was like they were on their way to the grocery store.
Authorities have now identified a person of interest as Solomon Martinez Gonzalez. Police say a receipt found in the car led them to a liquor store where he was seen on surveillance cameras before the crash. They believe he may have fled the state or even the country. You can send tips to Gresham Police or Crime Stoppers of Oregon. Tonight, we are also getting our first look at body cam video from a deadly confrontation between a Clark County Sheriff's deputy and a man arrested for driving drunk. A warning, the video is disturbing to watch, in part because the suspect expresses suicidal thoughts, and it ends with the deputy stabbing him. Viewer discretion is strongly advised here. John Adams walks us through what happened.
On the night of May 7th, Clark County Deputy Bryson Layton fatally stabbed 54-year-old Mark Fogel during a confrontation after Fogel was arrested on suspicion of drinking and driving. We are now getting our first look at what happened that night.
Clearly I've been drinking.
Yeah.
And I ran into these cars.
Body-worn camera video that has been edited for brevity, according to the Clark County Sheriff's Office, shows deputies first coming into contact with Fogel in Vancouver. You can hear the 54-year-old admit to drinking and running into a number of parked cars.
You do not need medical attention, correct?
I do not. But as you will see, I am a CDL driver.
Okay.
And like I said, I like f***ing over.
How much have you had to drink tonight?
More than I need to.
We then see Fogel being placed under arrest before being taken to the weigh station in Ridgefield, where Deputy Layton takes Fogel into a room to perform a breath analysis test.
You don't know who you're dealing with.
That's true. So are you going to hurt me?
No, I'm not.
Okay, well, I trust you.
All right.
Fogel continues to make statements about his life being over to Deputy Layton.
What's the matter? Like I said, I'm done.
All right, we're just gonna...
I'm a dead man. You're talking dead man.
We then hear this exchange.
You know what's crazy? It's just you and me in this room.
A few seconds later, Deputy Layton asks if Fogel is threatening him, which leads to their confrontation.
Why are you saying things like that?
I don't know.
Okay, go ahead and stand up. Turn around, face away from me.
Sure. Are you sure?
Yeah, turn around, face away from me right now.
Sure.
Boy, 73, I'm fighting with one.
Sure.
Give me the air, he's reaching for my gun. Mark, you're gonna get shot!
Yeah, that's what I want.
I ain't shot! Mark, get the away from me! Get the away from me, Mark!
Deputy Layton's body camera then gets turned off in the struggle. When it comes back on, we've decided to pause it because it's so graphic. The video shows deputies cut off his clothes, to provide life-saving aid.
The sheriff's office says that Layton stabbed Fogel multiple times during the struggle, which we cannot see because the video cuts out. We also do not see what weapon the deputy used. Once an ambulance arrived, medics pronounced Fogel dead at the scene. The Washington Office of Independent Investigations has been assigned to this incident. Deputy Layton has been placed on critical incident leave, which is standard protocol. Back to you. John Adams reporting there. This story involved discussions of suicide. A reminder, if you or anyone you know is having a mental health crisis, know that help is available 24/7. Just call or text the National Suicide and Crisis Hotline at 988 to be connected to support. Again, that number is 988. In a health alert tonight, health officials have discovered a case of tuberculosis at a Portland middle school. The Multnomah County Health Department says it's optimistic we will not see community spread from the case, but still they want people to be aware. Here is what we know. Someone affiliated with Lane Middle School in Southeast Portland was diagnosed with TB about a week ago. Officials will not say if they were students or a staff member, and note the person may have been contagious as early as last September. Health officials say TB, it's a bacterial infection that often attacks the lungs, progresses slowly, and can be hard to diagnose. People who may have been exposed have already been contacted, they say, and officials say they'll also be giving free blood tests to anyone in the school community. They add it often takes prolonged face-to-face contact with someone who has TB symptoms for another person to get infected.
It's important to understand that TB doesn't live on surfaces, and it's not spread by casual contact like shaking hands or sharing food or touching surfaces.
Also, most people who contract TB don't actually get sick. If you're concerned, you can find more information on symptoms from the health department as well as numbers to call in our story on KGW.com. Well, now to a live look over downtown Portland on this Thursday night, Friday Eve. Some clouds moving through, 52 degrees after we saw some rain in some spots, and it turns out there's a lot more of that on the way. Matt Zafino's here with a weather impact alert coming up for the weekend. Hey there, Matt.
Yeah, this is for Saturday, just Saturday, but it's going to be a wet one. We're going to have frequent showers, isolated thunderstorms scattered around the state as well. And we may get enough rain that we could actually get some water ponding on roadways. So you want to think about your plans for Saturday, make adjustments for a very rainy day. Now, this is the rainfall forecast for Saturday, upwards of 2/3 of an inch. If we get that much, that'll make it our rainiest day in nearly 2 months. You got to go back to the beginning of spring before to find a day where we've had more rainfall than that in just one day. Now, right now, the rain is winding down. It's mainly over. There's still some light mist or drizzle falling around town, but it's moving out pretty quickly right now. And we didn't pick up a whole lot of rain, 0.08 of an inch, pretty much all less than 1/10 of an inch around the metro area. But again, we're going to get more on Saturday. But the rain tonight tapers off. We'll have a nice, dry, mild Friday, and then the Saturday soaker. More on the weekend in a bit. David, back to you.
All right, looking forward to that. Thanks, Matt. To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, a former WWE wrestler accused of killing his wife has been deemed unfit to stand trial. 70-year-old William Haynes Jr., better known as Billy Jack, is accused of shooting and killing his 85-year-old wife Jeanette at their Southeast Portland home in February of last year. Multnomah County judge today said the case is unable to proceed because Haynes has a mental disorder. Haynes, who is well known in wrestling circles in the 80s and 90s, will remain in custody for now and could be committed to the Oregon State Hospital. The former treasurer of the Ridgefield, Washington Little League was sentenced today to 6 months in jail for stealing about $100,000 from the organization. Eric Hebner pleaded guilty to theft and forgery. Prosecutors say he used that money that belonged to the league to pay off credit cards, utility bills, and on the adult website, OnlyFans. And Oregon State Police raided a wild animal park in southern Oregon today. The West Coast Game Park Safari is a popular tourist spot on Highway 101 south of Bandon. Authorities say they're looking for evidence in a criminal investigation into animal care, welfare, permitting, and business practices. A report from federal regulators also found more than 8,000 citations for violations of the Animal Welfare Act, including big cats that were seemingly malnourished. New at 11, plans are in the works to sell two of the most iconic buildings that make up the Rose City skyline. The U.S. Bancorp Tower, known as Big Pink, on the right, and the Pac West building on the left. Experts say they believe it's yet another sign of downtown Portland's struggle to rebound post-pandemic. Catherine Cook is here with what happens next. Catherine?
Well, David, ideally, a buyer or two will step up. And if history, recent history at least, is any indication, they'll likely pay pennies on the dollar for the properties compared to what they last sold for.
For sale, the U.S. Bancorp building, also known as Big Pink. The Portland landmark has 42 stories of possibilities and a plaza. Too big? How about this starter skyscraper, the Pac West building? At just 30 stories, it features aluminum panels and a central atrium. Both massive office buildings are new to the market. Real estate experts say it's downtown Portland in a nutshell right now, a shell of the business center it once was.
I wasn't surprised to hear at all because so many of the assets in downtown Portland that are office focused are in distress.
Vanessa Sturgeon is CEO of TMT Development, which owns Fox Tower. With her ear to the ground floor of Portland's real estate market, Sturgeon believes many other office buildings will soon be on the market, depending on what lenders are willing to work with. Real estate firm Colliers puts downtown office vacancy at nearly 35%.
The lenders on these buildings are going to be taking huge losses. There's no two ways about it.
If past is prologue, then these buildings will likely sell at a steep discount from what they previously sold for.
Jonathan Bach is a housing and real estate reporter for The Oregonian. For perspective, Bach points to the Montgomery Park building in Northwest Portland. It sold last year for $33 million. A fraction of the $255 million it sold for in 2019. List prices for the U.S. Bancorp and Pac West buildings aren't public, but they both last sold about 10 years ago for $372 million and $170 million, respectively.
Portland has lagged peer cities in bouncing back from population and job growth. Those two statistics were really hurting on compared to peer cities.
We have not traditionally been great about being welcoming to businesses, and businesses are who are driving the recovery.
Specifically, Sturgeon called out costs around Portland's preschool for all and supportive housing services as big buyer barriers.
Those taxes are they're so significant, and people are not seeing a good value on their investment.
But with renewed focus on economic growth at the city and state level, Sturgeon is hopeful.
If they focus on it and are willing to do whatever it takes to get companies into Portland, then I think we can recover.
We reached out to Portland Mayor Keith Wilson's office about the listings. Regarding the U.S. Bancorp Tower, his spokesperson said, quote, "The mayor and his team stand ready to assist where possible to support a smooth transition to ensure Big Pink continues contributing to Portland's dynamic future." David.
Yeah, sounds like a whole lot of uncertainty for now. Thanks, Catherine. And it turns out one more recognizable downtown Portland building is also going on the market. This one owned by the federal government. The historic Gus J. Solomon Federal Courthouse will be sold off, according to an announcement from the U.S. General Services Administration. The 7-story building at Southwest Main and Broadway opened in 1933. It is on the Register of Historic Places. The GSA said the sale was described as part of President Trump's plan to, quote, optimize the government's real estate portfolio. The federal tenants in the building have already moved.